Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and in this video, we're going to be reviewing the 2022 Union Atlas. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was gray skies with high visibility, slightly cooler temps. There was fresh corduroy, chunder, ice, kind of just a mix of everything on the runs. And I rode it with my K2 Thraxis boots and my K2 Cool Bean. When it comes to adjustability on this binding, you've got a pin placement system for the toe strap. So you got 3 placements on the ladder as well as the strap. So all you have to do is push that down, pull it back up. That way you can center it better on your boot. With the heel strap, you've got 3 spots, once again, for the ladder and the strap. So you can just unscrew it, slide it to where it needs to be, screw it back in. The Highback has 2 spots where you can put it in so that you can rotate it if that's your thing. You also have flip cams on your straps just for lengthening and shortening them. You got your forward lean adjustment on the back, pretty standard stuff. The heel cup is fully adjustable, just loosen the screws, slide it forward, push it in if you want to, and you can slide the toe ramp forwards or backwards if you need to. The heel strap is one of those new age heel straps, so you got minimal material in there, and it just locks in right around the instep of the boot. Basically, you don't have any added padding with this, so what it does is it just locks in. You strap it in, all your padding is inside your boot. You get a better contour in there. It doesn't stretch, it doesn't expand, it stays locked in. With the toe strap, it's more of a rubber material. The cutout isn't as big as other ones out there, but I didn't have any problem with it locking into my boot. It seemed to fit in there perfectly. It contours well. Basically, the straps are solid. I didn't have any issues with them. It's nice that you got your adjustability in there, and that's it. The ratchets do their job. They climb well. The one finger quick release works just the way you want it to. You don't have to worry about it. Basically, they're ratchets. They're solid. The only one time I had one jam up, it was so full of ice and everything. It was from me laying the board over upside down. It just got packed in there. It came right out and they were able to just lock right in. So I didn't have any issues with the ratchets. The Highbacks do their job. You can push into them. You got a little more give out in that wing, but overall, it's a stiff Highback, so when you're driving into it, you can feel that power and whatnot. The forward lean works as you would want it to. The one thing that I did notice was these seem to have just a little bit more natural lean in them compared to other bindings in this category. When you look at it, you don't really see it. It's just something I felt when I was riding it. Maybe it was just me, I don't know. Maybe my boot didn't fully match up to it. These things happen. The overall flex of this binding is pure free ride. You notice that right away when you strap into it. It's a binding that has a lot of power. When you drive into it, you feel it going through the straps down into the footbed. Same thing when you're pulling back on your heel edge. You just feel it coming up through the base and into those straps. You do have the camber disc, which does have that dual mount system, and it is a bigger disc. So it does create a bigger dead spot underfoot. It just makes you feel more secure. If you're one of those old school guys that doesn't really like a mini disc, you want something more traditional, this is that feel right there to it. Basically, this is a binding, if you're gonna drive into it, you're gonna feel it. There's not a lot of lateral play. It just feels like when you go to laterally flex the binding, more power is being distributed outside the foot down into the snowboard. And the same can be said when you're putting it in from your toe to your heel edge. The ride of this binding is powerful, yet not damp. So you do feel chatter underneath. It does feel slightly lively. It's not one of those bindings that just completely deadens everything and the feel of the board. The big takeaway is it's a highly responsive binding. You're gonna feel the power, the distribution in there. You're also gonna feel the chatter underfoot. It doesn't dissipate that and make it dead. Who's this binding for? The hard charging free ride guy. So my personal thoughts on the new Atlas since they overhauled it, since the last time I actually rode one. It's not the binding for me. It will never be the binding for me. I get that. It's a very powerful and responsive binding, and I like that. That's great. What I don't like is I could feel everything underfoot. That's just me, but I could. It's not the most damp binding. You got a bigger disc in there, you got a bigger dead spot and whatnot. I didn't like it. Straps are solid. I like the way the cutout works on the heel strap. I like the way that it contours. Toe strap, in my opinion, it could have a bigger cutout just because of certain boot shapes, but for mine, it worked. Overall, it was an easy binding to adjust. I didn't really have any problems with setting it up. It did its job. It's powerful. That's what you want out of something like this. More power to you. This has been my review of the Union Atlas. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.